Hello everyone. Today I'm going to take you through the form filling guidelines of IIM Ranchi 5-year integrated IPM program. My name is Alpesh and let's start with the form filling guidelines. Now you can see the website link on the screen. This is the link that you're going to go through for filling in your application form. But before we get into the links, there are few things that you need to keep in mind. So let us go through that first. So let us first go through things that you need to remember, and then I will take you through the actual form filling guidelines. First thing, IIM Ranchi do not have their own entrance test. So what are they doing? You have two options. One is you can take the IPM indoor entrance test, or you can take the SAT entrance test, or you can also take both, and the best of the two will be considered. So choice is ours. So either you take an IPM indoor entrance test or the SAT SAT entrance test. Now please keep one thing in mind. Since Ranchi does not have their own entrance test, what is the first thing that I have to do? Let's say I decide that I want to go in via the IIM indoor entrance test. So I will have to register for the indoor entrance test first. Once my registration for indoor is done, I will get my indoor registration number. That is something that I'll have to input in my form here. Hence, important thing is whichever test you decide, whether it is an IIM indoor or whether it is a SAT, please make sure that the registration of that test is done, and then I do the IIM Ranchi test registration. Now, let's try to identify what are the important dates that I need to keep in mind. So these are the important dates. Now my registration deadline is of 2nd June, and the last date to submit my IPM indoor test registration number or the SAT test registration number is 30th of June. But as I said, ideal possibility would be I already register for IIM indoor and then I fill the IIM Ranchi form, so that what happens is I can complete the process in one go itself and I do not have to wait. Chances of forgetting is there. Hence, I first register for Ranchi, I first register for Indore and then I come back to the registration for IIM Ranchi. So that these two different dates actually then will not make any difference. But please make sure that you complete everything before 2nd of June. Now, there are various other dates, like when will they come up with the shortlist of students, when will they come for the personal interview dates, when will my interview will actually be conducted, and when will my academic year start. For all these details, they haven't come up with any dates, but as and when the dates come, we will get back to you and we will inform you the dates. Let us look at the eligibility for applying to IIM Ranchi. If I have completed my 10th and 12th standard, please make sure that your 10th and 12th are minimum 60% requirement. So the minimum requirement in your 10th standard is a 60%, then and only then I can apply to IIM Ranchi. I'm sure most of us would have not completed our 12th standard, so that is fine. But please make sure that whenever your results are declared, your 12th standard percentage should also be more than 60%. That is one basic requirement. The other very important requirement is the percentage of marks obtained by the candidate in the 10th and 12th standard will be calculated based on the board's regulation. So let's say in my 10th standard, I have 6 subjects. There are some boards in India which gives you your percentage based on the best 5 subjects. And there are some boards in India which gives you the score based on all the 6 subjects. So whatever regulation your board is following, please input that score itself. So if your board is following best of 5, whatever percentage of best of 5 comes out, please input that percentage. Okay. And there is no age limit to take to apply to IIM Ranchi. So what is my selection procedure? The selection procedure is very, very straightforward. You fill in the IIM Ranchi application form. You take either the Indore or the IPMAT test. Then they will come up with the shortlist of candidates. So after shortlisting of candidates, they will give you the final results and then you will be selected. So this is the order in which everything will proceed. So what are the cutoffs that the Ranchi college considered for SAT last year? So you can see on your screen, these are the scores that they considered, or these are the cutoffs that they considered for last year admission. So say for example, if I belong to a general category, then I need to make sure that I have a minimum of 1350 in your SAT test. Okay. Similarly, if I belong to an OBC category, my minimum requirement will be 1050. If I belong to an SC category, my minimum requirement will be a 930. And if I belong to a differently abled category, then I require a minimum of 800 score to get call for my IIM Ranchi program. So this is based on the last year scores. More or less it will remain the same, but this year there can be a difference. But again, I'm saying more or less it should revolve around this scores itself. So you will get a basic idea. If I'm applying to Ranchi via a SAT score, what is the score, a rough approximate that I'm looking out for? This table will help you with that. But what are the requirements if I'm applying to IPM Indore? That they haven't mentioned. Now, important instructions that I need to keep in mind before I actually go on to the form filling guidelines. Use your mouse to move between fields for entry of data instead of using the tab key. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say I inputted my name. After inputting my name, let's say I want to input my father's name. So I normally use the tab to move between two fields. What they have mentioned is instead of using the tab, try to use the mouse to move from one field to another. That's all what they are saying. The second instruction that you need to keep in mind is fields marked with asterisk are mandatory, which I'm sure most of us know this. Whenever we fill any form, there are some asterisk marks that are there. So those are the most important requirement things. Wherever there is no asterisk, I can ignore filling in those data. Candidate must provide a correct email address while doing the registration. Now, why is this important? Because whatever email ID you have given, you will get an OTP on that email ID. Whenever you want to re-log into IIM Ranchi registration, you will require the same email address that you have inputted here. Hence, please make sure that you use a functional email ID here so that you don't forget your email ID. Okay. Once the OTP is entered, the candidate is supposed to fill in the basic information. What are the basic informations required? I'll just come back to it a little later. Candidate can log in using the user ID and password to complete the registration process. And please fill in the information exactly as it appears in your 10th grade. Now, important thing here is your name. So how your name appears in the 10th standard mark sheet, please make sure that your name is in exact same format in your registration also. Okay, so if your first name comes first and then you have your last name in your 10th standard mark sheet, please make sure here also you do exactly the same. If your last name comes first in your mark sheet, please make sure you input that here also. Okay, so how your name appears in the 10th standard mark sheet, please make sure here also you write it in the same form. So before I get into the form filling guidelines, there are two things that I need to remember. First thing is your passport size photograph. So please make sure you keep a passport size photograph ready, and please make sure that you keep a scanned copy of your signature ready also. These are the two things that you need to keep ready. Now, your photo. What are the requirements of the photo? The photograph should not be more than 6 months old. So please make sure that the photo that you are uploading is the latest photograph. As simple as that. The second thing is, please make sure that in the photo, your background is either a white or an off-white. These are the things that they have mentioned on their website. Third thing is, now when you take a photo, the size of the photo would be more than 512 KB. That's a possibility. So please make sure that you reduce the size of the photo to either a 512 KB or anything lesser than that. If your size is greater than 512 KB, you will not be able to upload the file itself. Okay, so if the size of the file is greater than the requirement, what happens is, there are lots of other websites available online. You just upload the photo there and they will reduce the size and they will give it to us. Okay, and another important thing is the photo should either be in JPG format or it should be in JPEG format. So this is the format that you will have to make sure that your photo is in. If your photo is in this format, it will easily get uploaded, and during that time I will not face any issues. Same thing you need to keep in mind for your signatures also. Your signature size of that file should be less than 512 KB, and the file format should either be a JPG or it can be a JPEG. Okay. So now let us get into the actual form filling guidelines. Okay, so the link was given to you earlier. Once you click on the link, this is what you will see. As I said, before applying to IIM Ranchi, I'll have to fill in the Indore entrance test form or the SAT form. So that is the first question that they are asking. Have you registered for SAT or IPMAT? Select a yes. Once you select a yes, they will give you a set of instructions. These instructions I have already helped you out what is the requirement. So if you still want, just go through these instructions and come to the bottom of the screen. Now you will see two things here. First, you will have to register, and then you will have to sign in with that email ID that you have used during your registration. Okay, so first the email ID that I'm going to use, I'm going to register using that email ID. Once I complete that process, I will get an OTP on my email ID. Using that OTP, your registration will get completed. Once your registration is completed, come back here and use the same email ID. So I'm putting the same email ID which I have used for registration. I input my password and now I can log in. So once I log in using my registered email ID, the first thing that I need to fill in is my personal information. So what are the details required? I need to input my name here. As I said, same as your 10th standard mark sheet. Then I need to input my father's name. Then I need to input my mother's name. I need to input my date of birth. I need to input my correspondence address. Very important. Please make sure that you do not, you write the complete address, your state, the PIN code, country, email ID, which again has to be the same that you have used for registration. Okay, mobile number, and if you want to plug in another mobile number, that alternate contact number is also there. If you want, if you wish, you can keep that empty because there is no asterisk mark there. Your nationality, your category, your gender, and then you have to mention if you have any disability, you need to mention here. And once I have filled in this data, just click on next step. So once my personal details are filled, the next step that we need to fill is my qualification, the 10th details, the 12th details, and so on. So let's just go through that first. So 10th standard, when have you completed your 10th? Input that. Your stream. Normally in 10th standard, there are no streams that are there. Okay, so it's clearly mentioned if there is no stream, type NA. NA means not applicable. Your school from which you have done your 10th, your board from which you have done your 10th, your percentage of marks that you have received in your 10th, and the last column says special instructions for calculating percentage. Now, if your board follows a special or a different form or a different formulae to calculate your percentage, you will have to input that formula here. If it is the normal average that the board is considering, no need to putting anything there. You can just leave that blank. Okay. Now, once I fill in the details of my 10th standard, if I have completed my 12th standard, the same details, the year in which I have completed my 12th, any stream. Now, the stream here would be arts, commerce, science, or anything else that you have done, your school from which you have done your 12th, your board from which you have done your 12th, your 12th percentage, and so on. Okay. However, majority of us would have not got my results yet. By the time we are filling this form, we would have not got the results. So as it is clearly mentioned here, keep it blank if results are not available. So I will not do anything here. I will not write anything here if your results are not available. However, if your results are available, all the data would be available with you, fill in. However, there are some students who would have done that diploma after their 10th standard. So rather than inputting in that 12th standard, you can input the diploma results here. Okay, so there is a separate column. If you have done your diploma, you need to input your diploma results here. Okay, so this is your graduation details. So once your 10th, 12th and graduation details are done, you have an option of inputting any honors or awards you would have got during your 10th and 12th standard. So if you have participated in an elocution contest, it could be at the state level or it could be at a national level, please make sure that you input it here. Okay, this will help you in getting noticed. Also, if you have more than one achievements, please, you have an option of add more achievements. Click on that, you can input your achievements here. If you are playing, let's say, a cricket for your school or a college, please make sure that you input here. If there is any academic achievement that you had during your 10th, 11th, 12th, please make sure that you input here. Okay, so you have an option of inputting a best of 10 achievements. So up to 10 achievements if you have, you can input here. Once this is done, click on next step. So as of now, I have inputted my personal details, I have inputted my qualification details. Now comes, we are already ready with my photograph and signature. So just upload your photograph and signature here. So once you upload your photograph and signature here, once again click on next step. Once you click on next step, now you will get an application preview. Please spend 2 to 3 minutes and make sure that your photo is uploaded properly, your signature is uploaded properly, your name is written properly, your email address is written properly, your date of birth is inputted properly. If there are any changes, you can go backwards and make the changes. This is the time when you can make the change. We have still not submitted our form. Once we submit the form, I will not be able to make any changes. So please take time, go through every details that is mentioned here, and then you can agree to their conditions given here and confirm. So once you are confirmed that I don't need to make any change in the application form, agree and confirm. Once you confirm, you will come to the payment page. You can now pay the IPM Ranchi application fee via a credit card or a debit card. You can use your net banking also. You can use UPI also. Whichever you are more comfortable with, use that and fill in the 2000 fees that I am supposed to fill. Once I fill these details, you will come to this page. This page is wherein now we need to input our, so if I want to apply via IIM Indore entrance test, I'll have to input my Indore registration number here. If I'm applying via SAT, I need to put in the SAT application registration number here. Okay, so once I'm done with this, then what happens is they will tell you that your application status is submitted. So once I see that application status has submitted, you are good enough and you can be assured that now your form is filled without any error. So please make sure that you take a printout or keep a soft copy of your application form and the fee receipt where we have paid the fees ready, and keep it in a safe place. Another thing to be remembered is the user ID. Next time, whenever you want to download your admit card or go back to the Ranchi website and check anything, you will need your user ID. So please make sure that the email ID that you have used, you remember that email ID. Okay. So keep the hard copy of the application form and the fee receipt with you safely and remember your user ID. Once I am done with that, your registration is done. So now what we are coming up, very soon you will see some various strategy videos regarding the IPM entrance test. And for viewing those, please make sure that you subscribe to our IMS YouTube channel. Okay, most of the videos you will get there. If you have any doubts at any given point of time, please make sure that you connect to your center. I'm sure each of your centers will readily help you. Any doubts, please get back to your center. I hope all your doubts are cleared. All the best.